Hello, disparate hallucinations of my delusional fantasies. It's been a long 3 weeks. My old company imploded, my new company won its first territory, and I killed thousands of boars. Before I get into everything, I know not everyone wants a massive video, so if you go to the time code on the screen right now, I summarized everything. You're welcome. After my last video, I wanted to do a more in-depth test on luck and what all seems to affect it. The best way I thought of was skinning for Scarhide and Smolderhide. Luckily, I knew just the spot. The strange boars in Eden Grove have a fast respawn time and can drop the legendary hides. Plus, they're only level 58, so they're really easy to kill and not too much of a threat. My original plan was to kill 1,000 boars for each test, but I quickly found out that was not going to be feasible. I settled on 500. I had 3 minor skinning trophies and salted fish cakes up the entire time. First, I recorded my drops for a full luck set without an amulet and a no luck set. These would serve as my baselines for the rest of the test. The first real test was amulet luck, because, of course, I had to test that again. I decided the best way to test this would be by equipping an amulet that gave the same luck as my knife. That way, if amulets are giving negative luck, my results would be very close to the no luck baseline, as the amulet would effectively cancel out the knife. 500 boars yielded only 23 legendary drops, only slightly under the no luck baseline. Combined with the info I already had from my mining tests, that was enough for me to chuck that thing in storage. Next up was a suggestion from a comment claiming that flagging for PvP gave them better drops. Now, at this point, Amazon had already said they would add this feature, but it wasn't supposed to be in the game yet. So, 500 boars later, I was rewarded with 21 hide drops. Again, slightly under the no luck baseline, so this theory seems like a bust to me. Now we get to the weirdest and by far the longest test. I've seen plenty of people claiming that you should unequip and re-equip your luck gear every once in a while, as they claim it stops working over time. To test that, I figured I would take it to the extreme and re-equip all of my gear and my knife before every single skin. It only took about 20 boars before I realized that doing this 500 times was going to be hell and take an eternity, but I pushed on. After the first 100, I noticed I only had 2 legendary drops, which is significantly less than normal for a full luck set. After the third test, the writing was on the wall and I decided to call this test a wrap. For those 300 boars, I only got a total of 5 legendary drops. That puts the drop rate at approximately 1.6%. To put that in perspective, the drop rate was 8.6 for the full luck set, and 4.8 for no luck. Somehow, just taking off and putting on armor lowered the drop rate below that of just not wearing armor in the first place, luck or no luck. So don't do that. The real question here though is how. I have 2 theories. The first is that putting on your armor resets an internal bad luck protection counter. Normally, this counter would go up every time you don't get a legendary drop, increasing your odds for the next gather. My theory is that taking off the armor resets this counter, so you effectively have no bad luck protection if you do it constantly. My other theory is that the game takes some time to register the stats of your new armor, so basically when I would re-equip my armor, the game would consider that I wasn't wearing any armor while doing my luck roll. This theory could also partially explain some of the scaling issues people have seen with duels and swapping armor. Testing the second theory would be pretty hard as far as luck is concerned, but I am considering a few ways I might be able to test it with a partner in the future. Getting back to the main experiment, my next test was to see if resetting bad luck protection could be used to my benefit. The thought was your bad luck protection would be set very low after getting a drop. If that's true, then resetting your luck would increase your drop rate, in theory. The main problem here is that the boars have 2 legendary drops, so if I got a Scarhide, it would reset my Scarhide protection, but not my Smolderhide. And by resetting all of my bad luck protection, I undid all the progress on Smolderhide, resulting in less drops overall. And that's basically how the results played out. A 6% drop rate on average, 2.6 below normal drop rate for the full luck set. Before we get to the last 2 tests, we have to talk about patch 1.1 and changes to luck. The first major change is obviously the 30% increase to gathering luck when PvP flagged. I didn't officially test this change, but it very obviously works. My legendary drop rates when mining are through the roof, and I find myself getting plenty of rare materials out in the world with no luck food or harvesting gear of any kind. Sure, the risk can be high, but the rewards for gathering definitely make up for it. The other change is a little trickier to understand. The devs claim 2 issues, a problem with the calculations of probability for some resources, and an issue with a luck sweet spot existing that rewarded you for having less than the best luck. At first, I thought that the second point was the cause of the amulet problem, but I feel like my testing kinda proves that isn't the case, as all my tests were done with low luck, not extremely high. Then, I figured this might just be the devs' way of fixing the problem without saying, yeah, a perk was working in reverse. Whoops. So naturally, I ran off to slay some more boars. My last 2 tests were just repeats of tests 2 and 3 from earlier. A baseline test for no luck armor, and a test with an amulet with the same luck as my knife. And the results? Amulets still seem to be broken. Seriously, the tests were within 1 drop of each other again. Oddly enough, favoring no luck items, but that's probability for you. Either way, with 500 drops, if the amulet did work, it should have had a few more on average than no luck at all. Alright, summary time. Amulets still don't work, don't take off your gathering gear to refresh it, and flag up together in 1.1. And that's it. I don't normally ask for comments, but answering everyone's questions on my Void Door video was actually really fun. So if you have anything you want me to clarify or any suggestions of things I should test, just let me know below. Anyways, click some of those buttons under the video, or maybe one of the ones on the video, whatever's your style, and I'll see you all eventually.